The extra mile is never crowded. Everyone is going to go to a certain point, and there's very few people that step beyond that. And the same thing is true about pitching.
People only pitch one way. They will spend all this time crafting this amazing pitch that is literally gold, that if it actually got in the hands of the decision maker, the likelihood of them wanting to engage with you would be super high. But the problem is they never see it.
What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of the Creativ Rise podcast. So glad you're here today. We're talking about pitching for the second week in a row. This is a part 2 of a 2-week series on pitching as a creative. Now, whether you're in the wedding space or you're in the commercial brand space, this applies to you because we all need to learn how to pitch ourselves, whether it's on a sales call, whether it's pitching cold to a cold contact, whether you're emailing a bunch of brands, you're going on a brand trip and you're trying to get land a bunch of deals, whatever it might be. Maybe you're a social media manager and you are pitching local businesses. Pitching is a fundamental skill that we all need to learn how to get better at. And this is part 2, as I said, of a 2-week series. If you missed last week, make sure you go back and listen to it. We are breaking down 3 characteristics that formulate a really good pitch. So actually talking about what's in the pitch itself. This week, we're talking about the delivery of the pitch. So if you have the pitch itself and it is a 10 out of 10, but you actually neglect sending it in the right way, whether it's not able to find the right person, whether you send it, and we're going to get into this, but it's only in one spot. However you make a mistake on the delivery side, your pitch is going to not work for you.
It will be a lot of effort with nobody looking at it.
Yeah, so it's a shame that this happens a lot. I know in the earlier years of my career, this happened to me all the time, where I would work super, super hard on a pitch. Like, I'm talking like 2 days on one pitch, right? Trying to make sure it's designed well, it looks beautiful, it's in PDF format. Then my email, to actually give them the PDF is dialed. And then I just wouldn't deliver it properly. And because of that, I wouldn't get responses. And so what we're going to be talking about today is a peek into the lessons we've learned on the delivery side of pitching and how Christy and I have built multiple 6-figure businesses as photographers, filmmakers, and brand strategists. And a lot of that has come down to pitching.
Yeah.
And so we're going to be breaking that down today, which is going to be really fun. So right off the bat, just to make this super clear, again, as I said, there are 2 different really foundational aspects of pitching, of the pitching process. You actually have the pitch itself and you have the delivery. And last week was on the pitch, a little bit on the pitch. Obviously, we've got a full framework on the pitch, and last week we just covered a little piece of that. This week, we have a full framework on the delivery, and we're just covering a piece of that as well. So if you loved last week, you love this week, and you're like, man, I really want to learn more about pitching. Well, for the first time ever, we were actually talking to somebody, and we were like, we should just release actually what we do inside of the mastermind to actually help people with pitching. Like, would that be something that would be cool? And it was an overwhelming yes. So for the first time ever, we're actually pulling part of that module out of the mastermind in allowing the public to get access to that. So if you want access to our actual full pitching masterclass, all you got to do is go to creativrise.com/pitching masterclass, and you're going to be able to jump on in and get that there. And if you go through that, you watch that, you implement everything, you send me your pitches, and you don't feel like it was worth your time or your value, we'll hit refund on it. I guarantee you're going to be very impressed with what you learn. If last week was very impactful to you and this week's going to be impactful to you, there's a lot more where that came from. We'll actually be breaking down the entire 8-step framework. So inside of the pitching masterclass you're going to get access to, we're going to have why pitching matters, the pre-pitch mindset shift, which is super, super important. It's one of the biggest things that you and I see creatives struggle with, including us when we started. Shifting this is really important. So we're going to teach you that. The pitching the right idea, how to make sure you're finding and executing the right idea for your pitch. Because if your pitch is amazing, but you're pitching the wrong thing, it's not going to land, okay? Crafting your pitch. Now, where to find the contacts to pitch, how to pitch yourself, when and how to follow up, recap the common pitching mistakes. So all of that is summed up into a pitching masterclass. You can go to creativrise.com/pitching masterclass right now and get access to that. Cannot wait to see what you think about that. And actually, send us your pitches. I would love to see what your pitch looks like. If you want some feedback on it, Christy and I, if you jump in and you buy the pitching masterclass, we are happy to look at your pitch and give you some feedback on it. But
absolutely.
So go to Creativ Rise on Instagram, comment, or just DM us a pitching masterclass, or go to the link in the bio to our website, creativrise.com. You can get the pitching masterclass there for the first time ever. We've never released that.
And you might be wondering, like, okay, but does it actually work? Like, whatever. Not only do we use it, but literally we've taught this to hundreds of grads. This is like not like we just made this last week. This is something we've taught to how many grads now do we have?
430 plus.
Like a lot of hundreds of grads. And they've worked seriously with big, huge companies around the world using these same tactics that we talk about in the pitching masterclass. People like Solomon, Toyota, Sony, Arc'teryx, North Face, Yeti, cool. Like literally the list goes on and on
Tours
and
of
on.
boards from all over the world,
So
car
cool.
industries.
So it works in the real world, which is the most important part of this being able to be used for you to be able to grow your business in 2026. And we wanted to release this because we were like, man, so many people want to work with more brands, more people, more clients this year. And this is something that can help them do that. So
we literally use this framework that the Pitching Masterclass teaches. You used it like 4 or 5 weeks ago. And pitched a beverage brand, and we're going to Hawaii in like 2 weeks because of it. So,
and it's awesome.
If you ever dreamed of
used
that,
it last week as well for something
there
else.
you go. So anyways, creativrise.com/pitching masterclass. Let's get into the delivery side of this though today.
Let's do it.
We are here to talk about not just the pitch itself, but the actual delivery side. And this episode is going to be breaking down the 2 or 3 things that we think are very, very crucial when it comes to actually delivering your pitch. And if you're not doing these, your pitch is probably not going to have as much weight as it potentially could. Okay.
Yeah.
So there's a couple things that a lot of us creatives do wrong. Let's start with the things that we find you and I have either done wrong or that we see endless amounts of photographers, filmmakers, social media managers do wrong.
Yes.
When they go to pitch.
I will start with the one that I used to do absolutely so wrong. And Joey kind of touched on it a little bit in the intro, but talking about how people only pitch one way. So they will pitch via email or just a DM or just whatever. They will spend all this time crafting this amazing pitch that is literally gold, that if it actually got in the hands of the decision maker, the likelihood of them wanting to engage with you would be super high. But the problem is they never see it. An intern just sees the DM or the email gets sent to spam or whatever, and it just gets sent only one way, one point of contact, and it just gets missed. So our tip for you of actually getting seen is don't just pitch one way, but pitch 2 to 3 methods of ways of reaching out. So whether that's a long form style email that has like a hyperlink to an awesome PDF, you send that off. Make sure right after you do that, you shoot them a video DM saying, hey, just shot you an email. Give a little recap, send them to the email, but make sure you're doing things, reaching out in 2 different touch points, 2 touch points at least. So that could be an email, that could be an Instagram DM, that could be a handwritten letter, that could be walking into their actual business or their shop. It could be so many different things, connecting on LinkedIn. There are plenty of ways to get in touch with people, which is kind of stalkerish, but take advantage of it. You know what I'm saying? So don't just stick to the one method and get so burnt out and discouraged that no one's reaching back out to you. Think about hitting every single person in either 2 to 3 ways of touch points to get a hold of them. So that is the thing that I'm like, that makes the biggest difference in my opinion on actually getting things read. And it's so simple.
We can't tell you how many times people have come to us and say, dude, pitching doesn't work for my business. Or are you sure pitching works in this line of business? You know, I'm a photographer who shoots this industry, and every time I pitch, I don't get responses. And we often say, well, how many places did you send the pitch? And they're like, well, I just DM'd them on Instagram.
Yeah.
I asked for their email on Instagram and no one responded to me. Or I sent them a lengthy pitch on Instagram, or I emailed them and no one's gotten back to me. And I'm like, well, you've got to really give yourself a shot by getting all over them. So email, Instagram DM, hit them on LinkedIn, message them on Facebook.
Yeah.
Send them an inquiry through their website inquiry
comment
form.
on their YouTube.
Comment on their YouTube. Seriously. Hey, I just sent you guys an email. Would love if you checked it out. Here's the sending address, that I sent it from.
Yeah.
If they have a local, like brick and mortar store you could walk into the store.
Yeah.
Say, hey, I just pitched you guys via email yesterday. Thought I'd show up, shake some hands, and introduce myself. Did anybody see my email? Like, these are real life things that you have to do, guys. This isn't weird. You might be listening to me saying this and being like, that's insane. One of the craziest pitches I ever did was there was an outdoor store that I wanted to work for locally growing up that opened up a ton of doors to other brands when I started working for them because I got access and got to know some of the other reps and from different brands, different companies. I literally went to a job interview. They posted a job interview for a salesperson for their floor in an outdoor store. I showed up with my computer, with a stack of papers I had printed off, basically a pitch, and I walked in and said, hey, this might be the shortest interview you ever do, or this might be very interesting to you, but I'm here to bring a ton of value to your store. I don't want to work as a sales clerk. I think I have a much better idea on how I can bring value to you. Can I share that with you? And all of a sudden it went from like them interviewing me to me kind of like,
pitching them.
Yeah, I was like, what's the word? Pitching them,
position.
giving them a proposal on how I think I could do business with them.
Yeah.
And they ended up hiring me which is crazy. I got a client that way, and that client led to me getting a bunch of more deals. So it's really important that you don't just think like, pitching is just sending an Instagram DM. Get all over them. Like, get hungry, right? Be a dog. We always talk about that.
Be a dog.
Like, actually get excited about how are the various ways I could really get creative with how I pitch somebody. Hit them on LinkedIn, hit them on Instagram, send them a handwritten note. Do you know how many brands are getting handwritten notes to their main office addressed to the marketing managers? Go on LinkedIn, find the marketing manager's name, address it to them, send it to their headquarters, and hopefully that will end up on their desk and it will say, hey, I've been emailing you, thought I'd send you a handwritten note. Most people probably aren't doing this, and I want to show my intention in working with you guys. Here's my idea, right?
Yeah.
Like, these are the things that you've got to do in 2026 in order to win the game of pitching. And if you're not stoked about that, then you either have to learn how to get stoked about that, or just very kindly, like, this is just what it takes to be a business owner.
Yeah.
Every line of business has to do this stuff. Creatives are no different, okay?
Yeah.
So that is number one. You've got to make sure that you're pitching in 2 to 3 places, as Christy said. That is one of the biggest things that we see people do wrong. Now, here's the second thing that we want to cover today when it comes to making sure your pitch is delivered well. I want you to think about pitching with clarity, obviously, but pitching with individuality. Now, here's what I mean by that. There was a moment in my life where I really learned about this, and I thought this was fascinating. Stick with me for a second, but I'm taking you to the Northern Ireland, okay? I'm in Northern Ireland on the north coast, probably 2017, and I was at this really beautiful hillside right on the ocean, huge cliffs, and there was this old, super old, like hundreds and hundreds of years old castle that had kind of been, it's kind of rubble now. It kind of, started to fall apart, and it's like a historical landmark there. And so as a tourist, obviously we're going there. It's beautiful. And you have to walk down this massive trail from the parking lot, probably like, a mile down this steep trail, kind of following alongside the ocean, the big cliffs you're on. And then you see this amazing castle. And there's like 150 tourists all taking photos of this castle. We're all like at the castle. Some people are walking kind of through the castle. And I was kind of doing that. And then all of a sudden, my friends and I started to walk on the other side of the castle. And on the other side of the castle, there was this like really skinny trail that went to the very end of this point right on the ocean. And it was like unbelievably beautiful. Okay. And I looked back at a crowd of like 150 tourists, all in each other's space, taking photos, selfie sticks galore. And I looked back and I was like, dang, like this is a way better view of the castle than all those people there. They just didn't decide to keep walking. And what I learned in that moment, I actually made an Instagram video about it on my Instagram. It's old video. But I talk about it in the video that the extra mile is never crowded. I was like, oh, wow, we walked like an extra half mile or mile through the people down the coast and out on this really beautiful point. And we got a better view of the ocean, a better view of this castle. And there was way less people there. The extra mile is never crowded. Everyone is going to go to a certain point. And there's very few people that step beyond that. And the same thing is true about pitching. So what I want to encourage you to do is pitch with individuality, because the extra mile is never crowded. If everyone is sending an Instagram DM, hey, my name is Joey, I want to work with you, I like your brand, I'm a photographer, send. If everyone is doing that, how can you do something that's a little bit different? How can you go the extra mile? Because if 500 people every month email the brand you want to be working with, well, how can you email the brand that you want to work with in a way that is different? So instead of competing 1 out of every 500 people, you're now like 1 out of 6 people they're very interested in, because you did something unique. You did something different. You did something that actually caught their eye. So examples of this, okay? Instead of just sending an email, maybe send an email where the first sentence of the email is, hey, I know you get a lot of pitch emails, and I know sometimes they're long and annoying to read. So in case you want to skip reading this, I've made you a Loom video. Click right here to watch. They're like, what is this link? They click on the link, and it's you breaking down your written email in video form using an application like Loom. Free. You can get free software, Loom, okay? Where you record your screen, and it says, hey, what's up? It's Joey. I know you get a lot of emails, so I thought I would just read you my email, add a little bit of context here. This might be more fun. Anyways, I'm really, really excited about this idea, and you go into your pitch, okay? That right there, you've now taken something that everyone does. Everyone sends an email, and you've made it more unique. Instead of just sending an Instagram DM, maybe you send a voice note. Send a DM and then follow up with a voice note. Hey, it's Joey. I just sent you a message above about an idea. I wanted to break down the idea a little bit more in depth here. I'm going to use a voice note. Hopefully this is fun. I don't know how many voice notes you get, but hopefully this puts a smile on your face and we can start up a cool conversation. Anyways, and you go into it, right? The extra mile is never crowded. So voice notes, video DMs, Loom videos and emails, handwritten pieces of mail you actually send to them. Like, what are the ways you can pitch with clarity? Never do something that's going to confuse your pitch, but how can you pitch with clarity and individuality? Individuality is the word you really want to be looking for when it comes to pitching. We've got friends that own brands. We've made friends with founders that have been clients of ours that we're now really good friends with. And a lot of them say, oh yeah, it's just tiring because so many people are pitching us and it's hard to decide who is the needle in the haystack because everyone's doing the same thing. Everyone looks the same. And so it's really important that you add a little bit of emphasis on the individuality and your intention on working with them, which is really, really important.
We literally did this probably now, maybe it was like 4 or 5 months ago. There was a wake vest company that we were really interested in working with. And we had no contacts with them, no connections with them, nothing.
From the other side of the world.
From the other side of the world. And we did a whole pitch and we did it with Loom. And this is not an ad for Loom, you guys, I promise. Like, we just genuinely use this software all the time and it's awesome because it's free. We literally sent it over via Loom and he writes us back like within maybe 20 minutes. I remember pressing send on a flight. And on the flight, he literally responds to me. And again, he's on the opposite side of the world. And he's like, whoa, he literally said this, that was the coolest pitch I've ever received. He's like, I can't believe that. What is that software? Like, we start talking about the software in the pitch, but he's so impressed. And he's like, let's work together. Let's figure out how to do this. Like within hours. Like, and
this is
if
a big company, they get pitched all the time.
A huge company.
So
and
if we
had just sent some bland, classic email, like maybe we wouldn't even have gotten a response. So something as simple as that. How can you infuse your personality into your pitching to actually get it not only seen, but responded to?
Yeah.
Is a huge
Here's
one.
another fun idea. We live in the age where a lot of founders are getting frustrated with the amount of AI junk.
Yeah.
Like, so many pitches are just AI, ChatGPT, they're AI pitching softwares. And they're just like, this is annoying, this is annoying, this is annoying. Two things on this. Number one, do not use double dashes. Double dashes are like the language of ChatGPT.
I used to use that naturally and I had to get rid of it.
If you use double dashes, I'm telling you, whether you did it manually or you copied them from ChatGPT, get rid of all the double dashes. It screams, I did not write this. I don't have enough intention and time to put into this. Therefore, I had AI write it for me. Get rid of those. The second thing is maybe put a spelling mistake in your, like a blatantly obvious spelling mistake in the first like 4 or 5 sentences, maybe even sooner, of your email. And then like a sentence or two below that, just say, oh, by the way, if you saw that spelling mistake, that's me giving you just some intention that I'm actually writing this. That was a manual spelling mistake to show you this is not AI. It's not perfect, but I am human and I cannot wait to connect with you. Anyways, continuing on. Stuff like that, I think, is really going to win in 2026.
Yeah.
People want to connect with people, okay? So you can use softwares, you can use AI, you can use all that stuff to help you increase your efficiencies, but really make sure that your finished product feels human. It feels tangible.
Yeah.
So that's something. Okay, last one that we're going to be talking about today. This is so important. Christy, how many of our deals do you think come from follow-ups?
Almost all of them.
Like, give me a number.
I feel like, honestly, I feel like 90% of deals come from follow-ups.
I can't actually think of a time almost in my whole career since 2014 where I've been pitching, where I've sent off a pitch, they've responded.
Than the Loom one we did.
Yeah, but you know, we had to follow up with them though. Like,
that's true.
They then got busy, and then we had to then follow up with them.
Yes, we did. That's true.
But I don't remember a time where I have sent off a pitch and someone just wrote back, "Hey, that sounds great. Send me payment. Let's do it." It just doesn't happen like that. You have to follow up. Now, I can count on a bajillion fingers the amount of times creatives have said to us, "Oh, I'm just so discouraged. Like, yeah, I pitched and it didn't work." And I said, "Well, how many emails did you send? Or how many times did you pitch them? How many times did you follow up?" They said, "Oh, I only sent the first one. Or I only followed up once."
Yeah.
Like, you should be assuming that you were going to have to pitch and probably follow up 3, 5, 7, 10 times before you might actually get an actionable next step on your customer journey. Right, with that client. Like, that is very, very normal. And that is not unique to the creative space, guys. That is how business works all over the place. So whether you're in the wedding space, whether you're in the brand space, if you get an inquiry and you pitch yourself, that's what it is. When you respond to an inquiry as a wedding photographer, you're pitching yourself. Yeah. They've inquired for you to pitch them, okay? And you should assume that they might not answer you back, and you might have to, again, follow up. If you're in the brand space and you pitch a company and they don't answer, follow up. And so a couple ideas on how you can follow up. First of all, rules for following up. Number one, do it. Okay. Number two, don't get overexcited and over stressed out, over anxious about like, I don't know, like how long I should, wait before I follow up, and like, don't let weeks go by. Every 2 to 3 days, just send another email. Hey, just following up on this, bumping this back up, or here's another idea I thought was relevant to you. I'm throwing this back in your inbox. Really excited to chat with you about this. Okay. So don't get overly anxious about follow-ups. Rule number 3 is make sure you track your follow-ups. It is very, very hard to pitch consistently and follow up consistently if it's just randomly in your Gmail, randomly in your Outlook, randomly in your
and
Notion
you'll forget.
mail, okay? So make sure you build an actual follow-up tracker. If you want one for free, we've built a quick, easy Notion template. It's one Christy and I use. It's very simple. You can add to it. You can build to it. But we're giving you the base model of that. Just go to the link in the description. You'll see the Notion follow-up template. You can just duplicate that into your Notion account if you use Notion, totally for free. Our gift to you. But it's important you do all of your follow-ups and you actually track them. So you can track them through Notion. You can track them through ClickUp. You can track them through Honeybook. You can track them through Bento. You can track them through Gmail. I think actually has a plugin that you can get for that where it tracks stuff like that. You can track them through Google, Google Sheets,
a notes app, whatever you want to do.
But whatever you do, I'd encourage you, make sure you follow up and make sure you track them. If you have a great pitch, you pitch in 2 to 3 places, your pitch has individuality and clarity, but you never follow up, you still might lose the deal. Yeah. So it's very, very important that you actually follow up.
Yeah. So you
Incredibly
guys,
important.
The three little tidbits on getting seen and actually responded to. 1, make sure you're reaching out in 2 to 3 ways, not just a single email, but actually reaching out across multiple touch points, multiple platforms. 2nd, that you pitch with clarity and individuality. Do something that stands out, go the extra mile. And then lastly, deals come from follow-ups. So follow up, and continue to press forward until they literally tell you, do not email me anymore, because you never know when the tide will turn your way. It happens all the time. So make sure you follow up, which is awesome. So like Joey said, if you liked this, if you liked the last 2 podcasts, if you're interested in learning more and you're like, I don't want this to just be a hobby. I don't want this just to be a one-time thing. I want to be pitching brands and companies and clients consistently and effectively. And I want to make this my full-time thing, or I want to make pitching feel a lot easier for me. And I want to know exactly what to say and how to say it and how to send it. You can get our pitching masterclass, which... We have a deal going on right now.
Yeah, if you want the full thing, because you listen to the podcast, we love that you listen to the podcast. Right now, if you use the code 2026, you are not going to get the pitching masterclass for $149. You're going to get it for $99. So you're going to save $50 right there. Use code 2026 in the link in the description of this, or go to creativrise.com/pitching masterclass. Just simply put the coupon code in 2026. Check on out. Make an account on creativrise.com. It's going to prompt you to follow all the steps, and you'll be able to log in, and you'll have lifetime access to that masterclass too. You'll have it as long as we own the domain, which is for very, very long foreseeable future. So guys, it's a great value add to the front of your year for 2026. There's no better time to get better at pitching than yesterday. The next best time is today. So make sure you run on over there, comment pitching masterclass on anything on our socials. On Instagram, we'll get you the link, or go to the link in the description of this pod. Hope you loved it. Send it to a friend that you know needs to get better at pitching. Send this episode to them. And remember, the pitch itself is only piece number 1. You have to master the delivery. The masterclass is going to help you do all of those things really well, but hopefully these episodes got you excited and got you on your way to getting better at them as well. So we'll catch you guys next week. See you guys.